खोई सी आंखें हूँ तेरी, देखे हैं आंखों में मेरी, याद है मुझे आज भी। प्रॉब्लम शुरू हुई, कहा था ना मैंने।
Hi everyone, welcome to my podcast, The Journey Within. My name is Shobha Rana. On this podcast, we try to explore a person's journey through the years, and we all, live in two worlds. One is the outer world, and one is our inner world. In outer world, the lives that we lead could be very different. Somebody could be doing X thing professionally, the other person could be doing Y thing. You could come from a certain family, certain background, you could be earning certain money. Whatever it is, our external lives are different, but our inner world is where we all find some sort of resemblance with one another, because that's where we sort of relate to another person. The way we experience emotions in our life is a similar way as another person does. The way I experience love or fear or anxiety or guilt is just the same as how the other person experiences the same emotions. Now, the reasons could be different for sure, but the way you feel fear is same, right? So this podcast is my honest attempt to bring out the stories which highlight this vulnerable aspect of our inner world and how we all are similar or same also at certain levels internally. So, joining me today on my podcast is a very special guest. She is a songwriter, singer, and composer. She has done a movie with Madhur Bhandarkar recently, Bubbly Bouncer. Her song has come out in that movie. She has sung for web series. She has also done her original numbers. She was the cover. She was on the cover of Indie India's Spotify playlist, which is one of the most elite playlists for any indie singer in India. She has incredible achievements to her credit, and today she has agreed to talk to me and take us through her journey. So please welcome with me Akanksha Sethi.
Hi,
Hi Akanksha, it's so good to see you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So
Thank you. That was a lovely introduction.
yeah, there was. Okay. It's as impromptu and as real
Yeah.
as it gets with me. So there are no lines on this podcast. It's just a room for very honest conversations. I
Yeah.
don't keep my phone next to me.
Yeah.
I have no questions. So
Yeah.
it's all about how it flows.
Yeah, it's the
Right.
best kind of
Yeah. I hope so. I
conversations.
hope so.
Yes.
We'll be unraveling your story, and through that, we'll see, how we all are, fighting sort of similar battles in different phases, if I can put it that way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, tell me something about your journey, Akanksha, because you had a very interesting journey. You studied in Lucknow, then you went to Bangalore to study further, then you came back to Delhi to do a job. What was it like?
First of all, it's always a very, very difficult spot when somebody asks you, okay, tell us a little bit about yourself, you know. So I'll try my best to frame it properly. So I'm from Lucknow. I mean, I've been born and brought up in Lucknow, and I did my schooling from Lamartine Girls College, and from there I went to Christ University, Bangalore for my graduation in English honors. Stayed there for 3 years. I thought that okay, iske baad definitely we'll just like go for music. We'll just head to Bombay, live there, and just like live the life, live the dream. But
This was what year?
this was in 2018, the year I
2018.
graduated. So yeah, and after that, that's why I did not sit for the placements. Also, I was like very sure that chalo, up se to I will go to Bombay.
I was going to do exactly that, and my father he brought me back to reality. He said, "You better appear for your
Yeah.
placements, and you show that you can, clear these. You better
Yeah.
not be making excuses
Yeah.
right now."
Now
So
I got
had to say,
I got a good one from my dad. Ki, okay, why don't you sit in the placements? Please listen.
Yeah.
Spend so much on your education and you can't even sit in the placements. I was like, listen, I'm gonna make it big in the music. Now wait, now. And my parents have always been super supportive. So touch wood to that, I didn't have to fight at home for pursuing music.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful for that. So after that, I went back home and I came to Bombay for my master's interview and entrance at Sophia. So I was like, ki, chalo, if I get through, I will stay in Bombay and I will just like for a year at least, I'll maneuver and just like do whatever. And I came to Bombay and for like brief 3-4 days, I think I was alone. And that was in all honesty, that was the most horrible experience I ever had in Bombay. I was so intimidated by the city. It was so fast because you know, when you're growing up, when you're in college, you're used to being in a very secure environment, and coming out of it, breaking out of that is always difficult. And especially when I was alone, I did not have my dad to accompany me to Bombay or my mom to accompany me to Bombay. And you know, it was just very, very scary that way. So I gave the entrance, I gave the interview, and I came back home and I told my mom that even if I'm getting through this college, I'm not going to Bombay. I will never go to Bombay. And it was a shock for her to listen to this, because it had always been my dream to move to Bombay. So she's like, okay, whatever, you know, take your time, digest this. And I did get through, but I didn't move to Bombay because I was so scared. Then I moved to Delhi for work. So I worked in Delhi at three places actually, at short durations, in startups, and then, you know, Harvard Business Review. But then nothing sit well, because I'm not the kind of person who can sit for a 9 to 5 job. And that is what I realized towards the end of, 2019. So quit my job, came back to Lucknow, and then I finally decided, like, okay, now I have to move to Bombay. So 2020, early 2020, around February, I had finalized, I spoken to my dad and everything. And that's when the pandemic happened. So we had to stay back. And
So you didn't
again,
move to Bombay.
I did not move to Bombay that time, and probably worked out for the best, because had I moved around that time, I would have moved alone. And this time, properly, I've moved with parents, because everything sort of lined up. My dad also got a transfer. Everything just sort of lined up. It's like stars. So yeah, it's been what, 8 9 months now. Very happy, very happy with the
But
city.
but when you had planned to move here in 2020, right before the pandemic,
Yeah.
you had sorted out your accommodation scene and things like
Yeah,
that, and you were
yeah,
ready to, get into a life where you had to
yeah,
figure it all out by yourself, and you
yeah,
had sort of taken that challenge also.
yeah,
But the pandemic stopped you,
yeah.
and it sort of derailed your plans.
Yes.
And when something like that happens,
Yeah.
you go through a lot of inner turmoil,
Definitely.
because you've all your plans and everything you've set in that direction, and now
Definitely.
suddenly this thing has come from nowhere, and you're like, अरे अब मैं क्या करूँ?
हाँ, now you have to like change everything. You
अब
have
मैं
to
सब कुछ मैंने अभी जॉब
figure
भी
out
छोड़
something.
दी,
Yeah,
all
exactly.
of that. So
Yeah.
what do I do now? So did you
That
go through
was
any of that?
that was definitely a very tough time, mentally also, emotionally as well, because I had clinical depression back in 2020, beginning 2019 end.
So you
No,
were deciding all of this through your depression phase
yeah,
to move to
yeah,
Bombay?
yeah. So this was not in 2019. This was, so I had come to Bombay in 2019. This was in 2020 end.
And
Sorry, Lucknow. So this was 2020 end, um, and 2020, was a very, very tough year mentally, of course, because I had a fallout with a certain person who I was very close to for a very, very long time. That, and then being cooped up in the house, it was just, there was no scope for creativity in myself, you know. And Lucknow being a city where you have like limited scope for my profession, where I can just like flourish, you know. So that was another thing that was adding up to it. So yeah, I fell into depression. I was on medication. I was on therapy for a good 6 7 months, and I'm really, really grateful for that. I'm really glad that I did take up therapy, because, you know, when you're meeting a psychiatrist and they tell you that, okay, this medication is going to help you, the first thing that comes to your mind is, what if I get addicted to it, and what if I'm never able to move past it, you know, what if I'm not able to leave it. So I had, touchwood, a very, very good psychiatrist. I had a very good therapist. So it was just a piece of, no, no, I wouldn't say that it was it was not a piece of cake, but it was a tough thing. But I conquered through, and I got out of it. I'm glad.
therapy is, like we were talking earlier, is 90% of self-work.
Yes.
I mean, of course, you need that guide to take you through that journey,
Yeah.
but eventually you have to walk that path on your own.
Yeah.
So how far do you think you have come as a person in this journey of, doing the self-work, coming closer to know
Yeah.
yourself as a person, and especially you are a songwriter. So when
Yeah.
you write stuff, you
Yeah.
get that much more closer to yourself and to, things happening in your life, because you always see it from a 360-degree perspective.
Yeah.
Otherwise, a song cannot happen. Or
Exactly.
at least a song that so many people relate with cannot happen, that so many people like cannot
Yeah.
happen,
Yeah.
right? So, how far along have you come in that journey so far, or is it a work in progress
it's
still?
it's a work in progress. It's always a work in progress, I feel. because when something like depression hits you, it never leaves you. It's always there with you. You get over it, but you will always have those trigger points. But the best part about, having gone through therapy is that you know how to deal with it. You'll no longer, dwell into it that, okay, something triggers me, that I'm not going to work. I'm just going to be numb for, like, say, a week or something. No, you work through it. So that, and therapy also sort of broke my creative block, which I had for the longest time, because for about 6 7 months I did not write anything. I
Because
did
you were
not,
going
because
through
I was
this
going
phase.
through that. Nothing was coming. I couldn't write. I couldn't sing also, for that matter. And singing is everything to me. Like, I can't go a day without singing. Like, I can't. It comes very naturally,
Of course.
even if you're not doing your riyaz every day, you're just singing here and there every day. So even the motivation to do that was like nil. It was so bad, and I was constantly in the loop. Ki, okay, this is not happening. This is not happening, and what do I do to fix it? And I was not able to fix it. So the only thing that I think sailed the boat was just being patient with therapy, and being patient with myself, and just having that sort of faith that things will fall into place sooner or later. Just have to wait through it. Just to, the only way out is through. So
You
yeah,
have to go through the whole
you
thing
have
to
to
come
go
out
through
of
it,
it. Of
definitely.
course, of course.
Yeah.
And Akanksha, what happens more often than not is that depression, hits you,
Yeah.
and then it knocks you down.
Yeah.
And if you don't figure that thing out,
Yeah.
your inner, conflicts and whatever it is making you feel in that moment, if you don't realize that you need to
Yeah.
sort of deal with it, and you just let it sit on one side and you carry on with your life on the other, it doesn't happen like that.
Yeah.
Whatever is staying there in the corner is coming to bite you in the future.
Right.
So
Right.
you have to sort of go through
Go
that
through
healing
it,
journey.
of course.
And it's a beautiful journey to make, I think, for everyone. I
Yeah.
think I would recommend it to everyone. And just tell me, what were your signs of depression? How did you feel? You said you had a creative block around that time, but what was going on in your day-on-day life at that point?
So the first thing that I noticed myself was that I was crying a lot. Like, I was crying throughout the day. Like, I had never cried this much, and it was not stopping. Every single thing was sort of triggering, and it was very difficult to stop crying actually. So that was the one. The second was my appetite went down. Like, I was not eating nothing. Like, throughout the day, I used to have like one or two meals, that too not even full meals. So, and I used to not feel hungry as well. So that was another sign. Third was I couldn't sleep. So depression works different for everybody. For me, it was in a way where I couldn't sleep till like 4 or 5 in the morning. I used to keep tossing and turning in bed. But then when I used to fall asleep, I didn't used to get up till like 2 o'clock in the next day in the day. So excessive sleep while having trouble
And
falling
yet not
asleep,
feeling fresh when you wake up.
yet not feeling fresh, because you wake up crying, you wake up in a very
Groggy
very
mood and
very
stuff.
very grumpy mood, and just like zero motivation to even get up and do the basic of things, like make breakfast for yourself, or just like have water. Nothing at all. So that is when my very close friend, I'm very grateful to have her in my life, because I wouldn't have made it through that time without her, so she was the one, and she's into psychology. She's a psychologist. So she was the one to push me to therapy. She's like, listen, it's time, take it. And I was, for the longest, I was running from it because of the one reason that, okay, what if they put me on meds and I'm not able to get over it? So I did go, and I cried. So I remember that first session. Oh my god, it was therapeutic, because I just cried and cried and cried, and it was a 1.5 hour long session. And then they gave me some tests and all, and that is when they figured out, okay, it's depression and you have to take medicines, because there's no way out. So I also told them I'm very scared to take medicines, and what can you, how can you, just like make me take these. So that's when they like walked me through the entire process. So I was convinced, and my mom was the first one who was convinced. So she met with the therapist, and that's how it
And the
went.
rest is history. Now you're here smiling, writing
Yeah.
songs, singing for movies, and doing web series and whatnot. I mean, more power to you. Like you said, depression and these emotional and mental health issues
Yeah.
work out differently for everyone.
Yeah.
For you, it could be loss of appetite. For somebody, it could be excessive.
Excessive appetite.
Of
Exactly.
course, it's just there's no one
Yeah,
way.
there's no one way.
Yeah, there's no one way with it, right?
Yeah.
So and to people in general, if you get angry a lot, if you get a lot of mood swings, I think then also you should see a therapist. I mean, I personally
Definitely.
believe that if your behavior is anywhere not in the normal domain, where you get
Definitely.
triggered with even these little things and you get extra
Yeah.
angry or something like that,
Yeah.
that is also a good enough reason to see somebody and sort this out, because
Yeah.
later on it doesn't play out well for yourself also
Exactly.
in your life.
I think everybody should take therapy, whether or not they realize something is wrong in particular. I think it's just a good space to like talk and seek help, because your friends cannot be your therapists, you know. You can
Nobody
only
can
vent.
be, because I truly feel that you do not share your 100% with anybody. You
Exactly.
don't give out your 100% to your parents,
Yeah.
to your friends, to your boyfriend, girlfriends, whoever.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't give out. You hold something back because you fear judgment.
Right.
What if I tell it this way and
Yeah.
this person judges me for
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
And then you choose to not tell it, or you tell it differently, and then
Differently.
you live with that inner conflict, that why did I do this?
Yeah.
Am I not being myself? And
Yeah.
slowly over the years it grows,
Yeah.
right? So it's just not a great space for anybody to be in, and
Definitely.
it's not required. It's so unrequired.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so glad that nowadays more and more awareness is
Yeah.
coming in, and people are realizing the importance of it, and people are getting more and more brave to be themselves.
To be themselves, to talk about all these things, because it's no longer a taboo. And for even for the longest time, even I was like a little, I used to shy away from talking about these things, because I thought, okay, it's going to go on a public platform, what if people like think differently? But no, I mean, it's my story to tell. Why be scared of, why shy away from what others going to think? I worked through it and I'm here now. So I mean,
Right. And, we try to discard it, but vulnerability
yeah,
is who we are. We are vulnerable human
we
beings.
are.
Something happens, or a physical something happens to us, mental, emotional, whatever.
Yeah.
We have a response to it.
Exactly.
And it impacts us. So we cannot discount vulnerability out of our lives in
Exactly.
any
Yeah.
way. I mean, it's just so funny
Then
that
you
we
just,
try to
if
do
you
it.
do that, then you just sleepwalking through life, I feel, and that's not healthy. And you will realize it sooner or later that it's not a healthy way to go about it.
Right, and reality comes through. So when you are a person who is his or her real self in
Yeah.
life, people can see through it,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
when you are not being yourself, people can see through it. Whether they can put it in as many words or
Definitely,
not, it's a
definitely.
separate thing. But they can see through
They
it.
can definitely see through it.
Yeah, yeah. So not just for the others, for yourself also. It's very
Yeah.
important to be in touch with who you are, what your
Yeah,
real
yeah,
emotions are, and
yeah.
stuff. Right. So a Lucknow girl who has, traveled to these few cities and has finally made it in Bombay. How is life looking right now? How excited are you about this? You've done a movie with Madhur Bhandarkar, and that's a big label to work with.
I
And
cannot even express, I can't begin to express how I feel. I mean, when I had moved to Bombay in October 21, I had a checklist. I had a list. It's still in my drawer, it's still in my journal. These things I want to check off in a year. And I'm really, really grateful that most of it got fulfilled.
wow, it's not been a year so
Yeah, it's
far,
not even
also.
been a whole year.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I think I'm just like really glad. That'll always be special, because it's my debut. It's like a debut
Yeah, yeah.
playback break. So
That
always.
happiness can clearly be seen on your face. But just tell me one thing, in 1 year you knocked off all these checklist items from your list and you're this happy person right now. But what if you couldn't do that? If that
Yeah.
would have taken maybe a longer time, or
Yeah.
1 year, life wouldn't look the way
Yeah.
it looks right now for you.
I was prepared for it. I
Yeah.
was, because when you move to a city like Bombay, where there's so much talent, every day new people are coming with so much talent, whether it's music, it's art in general. So you have to be realistic also. You can't live in your own world कि अच्छा मैं आ गई हूँ तो अभी मेरा ही ज़माना है. No, you can't be like that. So of course, when I made that list, I had this in mind. Ki, what if I'm not able to achieve this in a year? I won't be quitting. Of course, that's not an option. That's never an option anymore. So I will wait and I will keep working towards it. And no matter how long it takes, I know that I'm gonna do it. I know it in myself that I am that kind of a person that I sort of, because now more than ever I've started believing in manifestations. I didn't for the longest time, but then manifestation is also a combination of you working towards a certain thing and also believing and sending out those vibrations. So yeah, I mean, I was prepared ki, acha, what if it doesn't happen in a year? Maybe in 2 years, maybe in 3 years, but it has to happen. I know it.
You know it. You see
I know
yourself
it.
being on that
Yeah,
stage,
yeah,
singing in that
yeah,
movie,
yeah.
whatever. right?
I
So tell me, how do you manifest? What is your process? Because different people do it differently.
oh my
What is
God.
it for you?
It's very funny.
Yeah.
I think I think I crib and manifest.
Crib and
Crib and
that's
man.
so funny. I've never heard that.
Yeah, nobody will ever hear that because I oh my god. Okay, so I sort of crib and manifest because I have these few set of people in my life, very close people, and I will constantly keep cribbing while I obviously in reality while working towards whatever I have to achieve. But I will constantly कि अच्छा मुझे ये करना है नहीं हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा है करना है होगा होगा and it's a combination of all of these things. So I'll tell you a very very small example. So when Ras Tera Mera came out, I released that in June, and just like I think 3 weeks after that, we were pitching two, not even three, 1 week after that actually. So we were pitching for this playlist, Fresh Finds Indie, and just to put the song on the playlist because it gets that sort of attraction. And Dal Diya Gana was on the playlist, and after like a couple of days, I was on the cover of Indie, cover of Fresh Finds, and that was like great because it was lovely to see my picture. Oh my god, this is something that I had thought ki, okay, the next song that I release, I want to see myself on the cover of any playlist, be it Radar, be it Fresh Finds or whatever. And that was a big moment. And then I got COVID and I was at home and I didn't check my phone for like good 3-4 days. And suddenly then another day I wake up and I was constantly craving कि मतलब मुझे चाहिए मुझे I want something more and I don't know what it is. Like I want something bigger than this, and I'm a I wouldn't say greedy, but I'm always hungry for that. So the next one day I wake up and I'm just like opening Spotify. I'm like seeing Indie India. I'm seeing my face on it. I'm like, wait a second, what is this? And it was just पूरा मेरा कोविड चला गया उस टाइम उस मोमेंट में. I was like so happy. I spoke to my team, रास्तेरा मेरा my team, and they were like so pumped कि oh my god, this is great. It's Indie's biggest playlist. But there was this one thing that I sort of, because I had, when I had mailed for Fresh Finds, I had sent them like 4 images of myself from a shoot. And I was like, this is one photo that maybe I don't like as much. I'll be very honest. No. And 1 week later, I'm seeing the pictures also changed.
Now it has come to that picture that you like.
Now it's come to the picture that I like. And it's been like, it's been on it for like 2 months now, 3 months now. And I'm just like, how is this happening? And we didn't say anything, but just by cribbing about the fact that I love that my photo is there on India. But what if this picture was there? What if? And I'm like, what is this? So I think that's something that's very strangely worked for me. So
So you're manifesting in your own
My
ways.
own
Most people
way.
talk about visualization. Most people talk about journaling. Most people talk about this bottle therapy, and there are multiple things to follow manifestation. But this cribbing and manifesting,
I
I'm
don't know
hearing
if
it for the first time.
there'll probably be somebody out there who's watching this or listening to this podcast who might relate to this. Yeah,
I
I'm
think we
very
all
sure of
crib.
that.
Yeah, we all crib. That's for sure, and we
Yeah.
all at some level want certain things. These days people have started calling their desires as manifestations.
Yeah.
But manifestations and desires, I feel, at some level are not the same things.
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
desires can be many, and not
Yeah.
all of them are going to come true. So you
Yeah.
have to really be clear about what you
What you
want.
want.
Correct.
Yeah.
You can't just go with a lost kind of a mindset, or a
You
mindset
can't.
that wants everything.
Exactly. You have to
Then
be realistic. At the same time, you have to keep working towards it. I'll tell you one more very interesting thing. So, and this is when I started believing in manifesting. This was not cribbing, honestly. So, when the song from Bubbly Bouncer was supposed to get recorded, so the composer producer Karan, he reached out to me because he's an old friend. So he reached out to me. He's like, let's record a scratch. I was like, okay. So we recorded a scratch of the song. He's like, I'll play to the director and everybody. I was like, okay. So when they started playing, they said that okay, they like it, but they're trying different singers on it. And I was so disappointed in that moment. I was like, no, I want to do this. I want this song. And because I loved how the scratch was sounding, and he also loved it,
Right.
and he's like, let's just give it to them. Let's just let them decide. Let them take a call. I was like, okay. So for 2 whole weeks, for good 14 days, I remember I used to wake up every morning. I used to put on my speakers. I used to play the scratch on loop for like at least 3 to 4 times without any intention, just because I loved how it sounded and I loved it in my voice and I loved the composition on it, and it was such a beautiful song. And I played it every day. And then on the 14th day or something, I think a few days after that, Karan called me. He's like, "To fir kare?" And I was jumping. I was jumping in that moment. I cried. I cried. I'm like, "Thank you so much." So yeah, that was
You
one way because
manifested
I
it.
manifested because I wanted the song. I was like, there is no way I'm gonna let this go. And it came very naturally. Like every morning, I used to just the first thing you want to do, wake up after you wake up, is just listen to the song. That's it.
So you had clarity of.
I had clarity.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I had
So
clarity.
once you have that clarity, I think it becomes that much more easier because if you can't be clear about
Yeah.
what you want, how do you expect the universe or whoever you
Exactly.
are expecting it from
Yeah.
to do it for you?
Yeah.
Because if you
Yeah,
can't
if
do
you're
it for
sending out
yourself,
vague, if you're vague about it, if you're in two minds, then I don't think it's gonna happen because you have to be certain. You have to be very. You have to have a conviction about it. So I think that really worked.
that's
This
really
was
good.
a non-cribbing everybody. This was a non-cribbing manifestation. So yeah.
I get that. Now, okay, tell me one more thing, Kanksha, because we live in a world of social media today. I mean, it's a
Yes.
statement that I've said so many times and I'm bored of saying it, but that's the reality, right? And there is sort of a pressure that I personally feel, and a
Yeah.
lot of us feel,
Yeah.
that all of the artists have the pressure of now becoming also the content creators. The world is expecting them to create content.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because everything has become about these quick 15 seconds, 10
Yeah.
seconds
Yeah.
reels,
Yeah.
virality,
Virality, trending.
trending, how much, and these all words. I
Yeah.
mean, how has it become so important so
Yeah.
quickly that most of us have even not learned what it really means?
Yeah.
And then you have to trick the algos to work for you, otherwise, you don't get the views.
Yeah.
Some videos you're getting like hundreds and
Millions of
thousands and
views.
millions, and
Yeah.
some videos you're not even getting 1,000 views.
Exactly.
And the struggle is just real.
Yeah.
So for us artists, people have put us on a pedestal that आप तो stage ही करते हो,
हाँ.
आप तो artist ही हो, आप तो गाना ही गाते हो, आप तो poet ही हो, या जो भी आपका art form है, तो आप तो करोगे ही content, है ना? और अगर आप नहीं कर रहे हो तो even if you're putting really good content out there, I felt this, I was writing really good stuff and things like that, but no traction in comparison to what I would see any. I don't want to use the word, but frivolous content, because there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's really a lot, and there's
Same
just
kind of
any
content.
random,
Yeah.
same similar content.
Yeah.
I'm sick and tired of people changing clothes on videos. I'm sick and tired of hair flip videos. Sick and tired of jumping and
Reaching another place.
I mean, how much of it?
Yeah.
And yet you would see that all your friends, all your followers are going and liking that and supporting that
Yeah,
video, and
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
honest content you're putting out
Yeah,
there.
not
The
engaging.
same people, and to you, like I've had confrontations and I've asked people, not that I want them to like my stuff, but what is it? Please give me a feedback.
Exactly.
Who's gonna read so much? And then I tell them that you ask me how.
Yeah.
How do I change this about my life? Dude, you have to listen to that how then.
Yeah.
Otherwise you'll always keep asking that how question, and that answer is not gonna come from watching these 10 seconds reels. It
Yeah.
never can.
Yeah.
Right? So how much of pressure do you take, or is it there for you as an artist to be also a content creator, to create something trending, something viral, and
Yeah.
things like that?
I think most of the times you don't even know. First of all, when you're putting content, even in today's time, everything is content. So whether you're singing in front of a camera, that's content. Whether you're making reels, whether you're making transition reels, everything is content. So there's the line and thing has become very blurry between art and content. So I personally feel that artists in general cannot be like aggressive content creators, like because everybody's trying to match up to the algorithm and everybody's trying to do a certain thing, and same kind of content is being repeated. So for the longest time I felt the same because I was obviously in that rat race ki acha karna hai, everybody's doing it around you, all the artists are doing it, where are you lacking, so it became sort of a pressure hovering over you ki, you have to do it. And then I did give into it. I gave into it and I created reels and I created mini vlogs, and after a point I was like, listen, nahi ho raha mere se ye, because I cannot do it. I'd rather post one reel a week or in a week and a half, but it has to be good. It has to please me. So I think that's very important. And no, I mean, obviously, no offense to anybody who's creating content. A lot of my artist friends are creating amazing content. They're both content creators because
Right.
that's what they're doing. They're great at it. I cannot be that person, and I'm not saying that everybody has to follow. All artists have to follow this thing. Oh, we'll stay away from content creation. No, if it's coming naturally to you, great, do it.
Right, as long as it's an extension of who you are.
Exactly.
And it's
Yeah.
coming naturally to
It's
you.
coming naturally
It's
to you.
great. But if you have to change yourself to fit
Yeah.
into that mold,
Yeah.
I think then that's a lot of
That's a
pressure.
lot of pressure, and you don't have to do it,
Right.
just to match up. And what even is good content? I mean, is there even a definition? I don't even know.
See, anything masala sells.
Yeah.
That's the harsh reality,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So when I was doing the concept of this podcast, and I talked to a few friends, and they said, "Acha to lag raha hai, but kuch masala entertainment kar le to zyada chalega." I said, "But I don't relate to that myself. How
Yeah.
do I change myself and my
Yeah.
whole belief system and
Yeah.
put something out there?" And I have a lot of friends in the masala space because I've been
Yeah.
a part of the industry for about 15 years now, right? So it would have been much
Mm-hmm.
easier, of course, and to
Mm-hmm.
talk to somebody and tell them that, listen, we're going to talk about this.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
takes a little bit more convincing also.
Yeah.
Thankfully, a lot of friends have been very kind, and guests
Yeah.
have been very kind to believe in the idea. And
Yeah.
someone like
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
came and you're doing it,
Yeah.
right? But when you're not pitching in also a viral idea,
Yeah.
like when you're not pitching in a viral song also, I'm sure
Yeah. Yeah.
it comes across as
Yeah.
a this thing that listen, ये तो viral नहीं लग रहा
हाँ.
है या sound नहीं
हाँ.
कर रहा है, कुछ change कर लो, कुछ
हाँ.
तड़का
हाँ.
डाल दो,
हाँ.
कुछ ये
हाँ.
कर लो,
हाँ. हाँ.
होता है ना?
So when I recorded Yuhi, that cover that went viral, I had posted that I was just singing because I was humming that song for like a few days, and I was like, "आज मैं डाल देती हूँ इसका reel. What is the harm?" I posted that reel at 12 in the night when my traction is zero. Like I have everybody has in the insights you can see what are the
Oh,
hours that you have
that's
to
one
post.
crazy thing. I learned that now because
Yeah.
my team, my
Yeah.
interns, they would tell that this is
This
how
is
you
the
check
yeah.
insights. This is how you check what's trending. I'm like,
And
I'm
what's
coming
the
to know of this
correct time to
now.
post?
It's just crazy. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, Chodo, let's just let it be. I will post. I'll be a rebel and I will post it at 12 in the night. And then I did, and then I had zero hopes from that song. I thought it's sounding nice, and whatever happens, happens. I never thought of it that it'll go viral or it'll just like people will start making reels, it'll go trending in like 3-4 days, and it did. And then I was very surprised because you never know what hits the audience that way. So I think again, it's a very ambiguous sort of a discussion. I feel कि content creation is a good and not a good and a bad thing. It's just like what's right and what's wrong there. Anything can work, and there are things which will not work on Instagram, but you cannot restrict yourself to follow the that thing ki, acha, this is what I have to do. You can't think while you're singing a song on a reel, you can't think okay, this has to go viral. You just sing it because you like it. It comes naturally to you. If somebody's creating a piece of transition reel, they're not thinking कि अच्छा, it has to go viral. They're just doing it because it comes naturally to them. So I think that's also one thing. I totally believe in that. So yeah.
Yeah. And when you get into the space of content creation and social media,
Yeah.
you also end up, whether you like it or not,
Yeah.
comparing yourself to others.
Yes. Yes. Oh
So
my God.
what has your journey been there? Do you compare yourself to others even now? Or do you self-criticize a lot? Or do you just seek learnings from others' content? What is it for you?
So now it's gradually changing. Like now when I see fellow artist friends them performing live, because I haven't been in the live scene for a while now, because I had this thinking, okay, what if I don't want to get back on stage because what if I'm not good? What if I can't engage the audience? What if I can't pull a crowd? And that has kept me from performing live, but I'm slowly starting. But a year ago, if you'd met me, it would have been like, okay, if my friend is performing live and she's great at it, I will walk out of the venue. I will not entertain.
Was it
because
jealousy?
it was not jealousy. It was just a self-criticism that, okay, I'm not that good enough and I don't want to look at it because I will, spiral down the whole feeling bad about myself, cribbing over it, crying over it. Now, when I, watch my friends perform, first of all, I'm very proud of them. Second, I'm always observing and learning to see what I can take from that, how I can be when I start performing live, how I can be on stage. So I think that's one thing which I've consciously observed and changed in myself for the better, of course. So, yeah, wait, what was the question?
About
this is
comparing
this is what
yourself.
happens, because when I start talking, I derail so much. I'm like, what do you ask?
I think all of us do that. I do that a lot of times. But it was about comparisons that.
Oh yeah,
How
yeah.
does it make you feel?
So there are bouts, definitely, because no matter how secure you are as an artist or how secure you are in your art form, there will always be something which will trigger you. Okay, why am I not doing that, and why am I not getting that? But again, it's everybody has a clock. I really believe in that, and it has to happen when it has to happen. You have to keep working towards it. And it will happen. I'm very sure of that. Sooner or later, it's gonna happen. And when it's gonna happen, I'm gonna really like it.
And it's so good to see you in that space,
Yeah.
because the energy that you're emitting out right now, it's all that you
Yeah.
believe in yourself, and you believe that it's going to happen for you, good things
Yeah.
are waiting for you.
Yes.
And it's easier said than done.
It is.
So when you are making it sound and look so easy,
Yeah.
and it's very real also.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've gone through a lot of self work.
Definitely. I've had major self-worth hits, Even now it happens sometimes. You can't be completely secure, and especially in this profession where every day new talent is coming up. You are bound to compare yourself. But then you also have to have that little voice in your head that says, "Ki, okay, you are different. You are you, and that person is that person. You can't compare. There's no comparison in caliber. There's no comparison in anything. So you have to believe in it. You have to consciously work. Believe in it. It's very difficult to do. Believing in yourself is the most difficult thing to do when you're in an industry like this. But yeah, I think it's just
Believing in yourself
in general, I think
in
it's
general is so
yeah.
difficult, and especially when the odds are stacked against you.
Yes.
When you are in an industry where things are so volatile,
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
moment you are a star, and for 6 months, a year, you have no work.
Yeah.
I've gone through those patches myself, and people just forget
Yeah.
who you are,
Yeah.
what's your capability, what you really bring to the table, because you've just had a slump.
Yeah.
And it's just disheartening
It's very
also.
disheartening.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
heartbreaking.
it's heartbreaking to go through that and feel that, listen, I have the talent, and
Yeah.
I have the
You
talent.
know.
You know it. It's not that you don't know.
Exactly.
It's not that something has changed about me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a very, I would say, difficult space to.
Difficult space to maneuver, as in when you go. But
But
as
I think somewhere that is the life that we signed up for. Although
yeah.
that is not enough to discount the fact that you are a human being, and you're
Yeah.
going to feel all
Yeah.
of this
Yeah.
very, very deeply, and it's going to stay with you.
Exactly.
Some part of you will. So if you go through a rough patch, and which you will when you
Yeah.
are in a volatile industry, is this at some point, right? So when you go through that, even if you get into a success upward trajectory, again that part stays with you somewhere.
Yeah.
That fear that
Yeah.
inculcates in you that
Yeah.
people will forget.
Yeah.
You are.
Always. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I can't agree more. I couldn't agree more. I mean, and especially when you're in an industry like this where this is basically freelance work, it's project to project based. And it takes a very long time to reach that point where you have work every day. And coming from a 9 to 5 mentality, and my parents also coming
I have
from a
not
job
reached that
mentality.
stage. Even in 15 years, let me break that to you. For me, it doesn't happen every day.
Oh
Probably
my
have to do this podcast to keep myself busy
I
and feel
mean,
that I'm
that's the
working.
thing, exactly. And even now, and because I come from that school of thought, it's hard wiring basically. Even in school, even in college, you're like, okay, यहाँ से निकल के you have to get a 9 to 5 job and you have to work every day. So I've done that, and now when I'm doing like things project to project, it's obviously frustrating at times when you don't have work. But how do I even put it? Like you have to have faith, कि, okay, this
But in that space, when you don't have work, what has really worked out for me, I'll tell you that, because
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
older than you in age and experience and
yeah, of
everything. So
course.
I'll just share that with you. What has worked out for me is upskilling yourself. You know, use that time to just upgrade yourself
Agreed.
in whatever way. I mean, it doesn't have to go in line with the profession or the career that you chose for yourself. Like, you don't necessarily have to do riyaz or a course in singing.
Yeah,
It could
yeah,
be something like a creative writing course. It could
yeah,
be something like a learning about finances. It could be
yeah.
something like painting. It could be anything that interests you.
Just like honing your
Yeah,
skills.
honing your skills. It really sort of adds up, adds
Yeah,
value to
adds
your
value.
that day, which
Yes.
is वैसे खाली.
हाँ.
You know,
And in
it's
the long run.
and in the long run, because it's shaping you in a personality,
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
making you a certain
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Because when you pick up something new that you don't know about, and you start creating something from nothing,
Yeah. Yeah.
that artist in you, that gets the thirst gets quenched,
Right. Right.
in
I
some way.
so agree with that.
Yeah.
And I've made it a point. If nothing else, I will do two things every day when I on days when I don't have work. Is my riyas. Definitely have to do that because that's also me honing my skill and just becoming better every day at it. And I will sit with my guitar and write something, anything. I have to do that because it's like it's like solving a maths problem. It's like doing maths. Every you have to keep at it every day, especially when you're a writer, you're a singer songwriter. You have to keep writing. It may not be the greatest thing. You may not even like it. You may feel like, okay, I want to discard this. It's not working. But you have to get that sort of a dirty water out for the good to come. So it's like practice. So now like made it a point. I'm halfway there. I do riyaz every day, but I'm still trying to get into the habit of like sitting and writing for a bit every day. So yeah.
I get that, because I sometimes I'm not working for days at
Yeah.
stretch and I'm writing random stuff. So I've
Yeah.
written comedy scripts
Ah.
and now I'm daring to think that I
Yeah.
should go to an open mic and test it out. So I've written a bunch of comedy scripts. I've written
Yeah.
a bunch of poems also. A couple of them I've released on my YouTube and things, and they've done well.
Yeah.
And I write just random and award-winning speech.
Yeah.
I'm not going to any awards or even applying or winning or
Yeah.
whatever, but just random stuff,
random.
And of course my own writing that
Yeah.
I do for my
Yeah.
book or
Yeah.
in general some research work and things like that. So in that space when you get that time, ये जो दिमाग होता है ना जब खाली हो जाता है
हाँ.
तो कहते हैं ना खाली दिमाग
हाँ,
शैतान का
घर.
घर, बस वो शैतान आके बैठ जाता है वहां पे. तो मुझे लगता है वो दिमाग को खाली ना होने देना. एक तो इट शुड नॉट बी वेरी मैकेनिकल ऑल्सो,
Yeah. has to
सिर्फ
come-
बिजी रखने के लिए आप कुछ
हाँ,
करो
it
वो
has
भी
to
सही
flow.
नहीं है. इट
Yeah.
हैज टू फ्लो. तो वो फ्लो कराने के लिए मुझे लगता है थोड़ा सा आपको ना अपस्किलिंग की तरफ इंटरेस्ट रखना इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. That grows you as a person and it just shapes you in a better person in every possible way. So there's nothing that you lose by doing that. So I think that's one good way that one can
And even in the lockdown, I think when I was going through that whole depressive phase, so there's a series that I started before that phase. It's called Songs in the Dark. It's there
oh
on my,
yeah I
Yeah.
saw a couple of songs from that series. Yes.
So basically, what it's about is I was just sitting on Instagram and just like I put my phone niche on the bed and against a black screen, I was just humming some songs, and I casually just like captioned it "Songs in the Dark," okay, and then people started writing to me, and then every Sunday it became a thing. So even during the whole depressive phase, that was one thing I used to look forward to, like to do this because it kept me going. I think it's very important, you have to find that light that keeps you going.
And you have to find it yourself. For
You have to
you,
find
it
it
was
yourself.
songwriting. For somebody else, it could be something, and it can keep changing. Also,
Yeah,
there's no
yeah.
no pressure to just
Yeah.
be perfect at it.
Yeah.
You're just figuring out your way and
Figuring
give
out.
yourself that space
Yeah,
to figure it out.
for sure.
Fantastic. And what is it other than singing that excites you as much as singing?
Ooh, acting.
Really?
I am such a dramatic person.
Okay, tell me one thing. Which movie character do you relate with the most? If I talk about Bollywood.
If you talk about Bollywood, I think I'm a mixture of everybody knows this. If my Instagram audience is listening to this, they know that I'm full on Geet. From
From
Jab
Jab
We
We
Met.
Met?
Yes.
Okay.
Karina 101.
My God, that means you're full of drama.
Drama.
And also full of talent,
Full
by
of-
the way. Yeah, of course. Karina is a house
Yeah,
full of
she
talent.
is
A very, very talented
yeah,
actress.
very talented.
So, can you do Geet for us?
Oh my god.
I think you can. I can see that in you.
I did actually. I did it on my Instagram. Okay, a little bit. Okay, so that scene where she misses the train again at Ratlam station, where Aditya drops her, and then
Who Aditya?
Shahid Kapoor.
Shahid
Shahid
Kapoor.
Kapoor.
Okay. Look at me.
Okay.
My knowledge just
Oh my god.
is absolutely zilch when
We
it comes
have
to.
to watch Jab We Met now. Listen, I'll make you sit through the movie.
See, when my friends tell me, so once I went to this fort, Nahargarh Fort in Jaipur,
Yeah.
and we were there on the top of this fort, and my friend is saying that, this is the place from where Amir Khan jumped or something like that happened. I was like, what? What movie are you talking? He said, you have not seen Rang De Basandi? Are you kidding me? And I was like, okay. And I was hosting the this movie meet and greet promotion for Amir's movie. What's that? Yeah, with that kid, Tare Zameen
Tare
Par.
Zameen Par, okay.
And I had not seen that movie. And I'm hosting through this event, going through it, faking it absolutely, have no idea, asking questions to Amir Khan and
Yeah.
to Sharman Joshi and to
Yeah.
whoever was there in this thing. And I have absolutely no clue. I've taken an outline from somebody that what is the movie about? What is it about? I have to do. I watch no content. I mean, now I have become better.
Yeah.
I do watch some content. So yeah, you
You
were doing
have
Geet
to watch
for-
Jab We Met. Listen,
I
I'll
have
make you watch. Listen, we'll watch it together.
I've watched all the DDLJ like 50 times, and I've
Oh,
watched.
I have not watched that. One
Okay,
time.
you've not.
I've once.
So I think
No,
you
no,
were
it's like
born
a- it's like a big
much
deal.
later. You were born much later. In our times, that was the
The movie.
The movie. My father. I remember he took us to the movie hall. I think it came out in '95. At the time, I was 7, 8 years old. and he was in the army, and
Yeah.
there were these theaters
Yeah.
जहाँ पे कुर्सी होती थी, प्लास्टिक वाली जो चेयर
Yeah,
होती है ना.
yeah.
इट्स नॉट लाइक थिएटर्स ऑफ टुडे कि ऐसे
हाँ
लाउंज कर लिया,
हाँ
ऐसा कुछ नहीं था. एक कुर्सी होती थी प्लास्टिक वाली, और कई लोग तो नीचे भी बैठ जाते थे फ्लोर पे.
हाँ
एंड वो एक आइसक्रीम मिलती थी शायद 1 रुपए की या कुछ की, और वो
हाँ
भी जब तक लेकर आते थे पास तक इट यूज टू
पिघल
मेल्ट.
जाती थी
पूरा पूरा मेल्ट हो जाती थी. तो वैसे हम लोग मूवीज देखते थे, तो वैसे ही मुझे 2-3 मूवीज याद है. वन वाज बोल राधा बोल. I've
अच्छा
seen
नहीं
that
मैंने
movie. I've seen DDLJ, and I think I've seen one or two more. I can't remember now.
Yeah.
But that's my movie directory.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So if you talk about the most cult movies,
Yeah.
I wouldn't know, and it's a shame. I'm gonna get better at it for sure
I'll
now.
give you a list, huh?
Yeah,
I'll give you a
please do.
list.
Please do. Yeah, so you're
But
doing
yeah,
Geet for us.
so that one scene where she finds Aditya walking into that lane, and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm not alone in this station." And she's like, "Thank you, Babaji." And this and that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And he's like, "तुमने फिर ट्रेन मिस कर दी? और ये जोकर कौन है बाइक पे?" And then she goes like, "Hi, I'm Geet. Pleased to meet you. इतनी प्लीज बाय गॉड मैं किसी से मिलके नहीं हुई जितनी आज तुमसे मिलके हो रही हूँ, क्योंकि वो तुम हो जिसकी वजह से ये सारी प्रॉब्लम शुरू हुई। कहा था ना मैंने, कोई डाउट मत रखना, छोड़ने वाली नहीं हूं मैं तुम्हें, छोड़ोगे तुम मुझे घर तक। तुम्हारे वॉलेट में पैसे हैं, देख लिए मैंने। सुबह होने तक किसी होटल में रुकेंगे, फिर कोटा जाएंगे, सामान लेंगे, देन ऑल द वे टू भटिंडा।
Wow, that's good. I've not seen the movie, but with the confidence, you ratified this
Yeah,
whole
man.
dialogue.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I am this. Don't even don't even get me started on Jab We Met. If I ever, I'm manifesting this. If I ever meet Kareena Kapoor Khan in real,
You will. You will
I
meet her.
will. I will meet her one. I'm definitely manifesting that, and I will rehearse this. I will recite this dialogue with her, and I'm just gonna be.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be so
That's
happy.
gonna be the moment for you.
It's gonna be the moment.
Awesome. That is so much fun to hear, and
I
wow.
am like, yeah. I mean, very very Geet sort of a vibe in life.
Keep manifesting. Strangest things have happened.
Yes, yes.
So,
Why not?
anything can happen, just keep believing that, right? Yeah. So, what's next for you? How is or what is the plan for next 6 months or so? Because things are happening
Yeah.
so quickly. I generally
Huh.
ask people what is the plan for next 5 years. But I think with
Yeah.
you, I will
Yeah,
rather stick to 6
I
months.
also don't have a plan for 5 years, honestly.
I think none of us have. That
None of
question
us
has
have,
become
yeah.
very obsolete.
You know,
I
because
think.
you keep making plans and you never know. Life is very different plans. It keeps changing, so you can't like stick to one plan. I think that's great. So, abhi filhal, to I have a few songs in the pipeline, which I want to release independently. Hopefully, get a label on board. So that and बाकी का मैंने सोचा नहीं है. Very honestly, I'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to taking up some commercial projects as well. So hopefully, yeah.
Awesome. What are the 3 tips that you would like to give to any artist per se, not necessarily a singer or an
Yeah.
indie artist,
Yeah.
but somebody who is generally willing to break through that mold of not going into a 9 to 5
Yeah.
and choosing to be an artist, explore an art form in an industry as volatile as this?
Yeah.
When reality hits you on the face every now and then, and you're like, what
Yeah.
just happened?
Yeah.
So, what are the 3 tips from your struggle, success, and all of it that you'd like to give?
I think keeping at it is very important. There will be moments where you will just be at your lowest for whatever reasons, but just being consistent with yourself. And I'm not talking about being consistent on social media, online. No, just with yourself. You have to know what consistency is and what regularity is. What really helps you sail the boat. Keep doing, keep at it, keep writing. If you're a writer, if you're a singer songwriter, then you have to, like, because I have been that person who's not written for the longest time, and then suddenly, I sit to write and nothing comes. I'm like, what is this? But again, it will not come in a day, it will not come overnight. You can't be an overnight success. You have to be consistent that way. So just keep writing, I feel, and yeah, I mean, I would honestly say don't give in to algorithms. So, because I've done it and it's not worked, and just hone your craft and hone your skills. That's what's gonna take you in the long run. That's what's gonna help you. You know, anything that is short, anything that is very quick to come to you will, most of the times be short lived. But then something which takes its time to come to you, it's gonna stay. So I personally believe that for myself. That's
Believing is very, very important.
Yeah, believing is very important. Trusting yourself is very important in a world where you are constantly comparing yourself to other artists, and
And others are also comparing
others
you.
are
The
also
one who has
comparing.
to give you the job, he's also seeing,
Exactly.
and you've just become that one name or
Yeah,
one
yeah,
that contestant number लगा देते हैं
yeah,
वो
yeah, yeah,
what's that pageant, beauty pageant.
yeah,
You're just a number. Now
yeah,
I'm inviting contestant number one on stage.
yeah,
You're reduced to that number, and
yeah,
that is what you're reduced to in today's times. To
yeah,
that number, it could be your reel
yeah,
का views कितना है, it could be
yeah,
your followers
exactly.
कितना, it could be whatever कितना है, right?
Exactly, exactly. And just because your song, something that you're putting out, is not doing well on, say, Instagram Reels, that's not trending, does not mean that it's not good. You have to keep making it, because there will always be, like, so many songs after which that one song is gonna hit. So you have to keep at it, and there's always, I think, being in touch with reality also, being realistic is also very important. You can't just like dream, ki, okay, I'm gonna be the star. No, you have to be realistic, because there's always going to be somebody who's better than you, but there's always going to be somebody below you. So you are obviously in that race, you know but not comparing yourself to somebody who's better than you, and also at the same time not being pompous about the fact that, okay, you're greater than somebody. I think that's just what's going to help.
I think that's a beautiful note to end this
Yeah.
episode on. You've given some really great positive learnings from your journey, and I really hope that the viewers have something to take out from that.
Yeah.
I feel that these positive things, even if they are repetitive, they need to be said as many times, because there's always a larger lot that needs that
Yeah.
belief, and
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
people draw that from you. Sometimes you
Yeah.
become that source.
Yeah.
I'm sure for you and for me, somebody has been that source at some point in
Definitely.
time.
Yeah.
And today, I feel if we can be that to
If we can
somebody,
be,
it's
that's the most beautiful
most
feeling,
fulfilling
most
thing.
fulfilling thing that you will do. No amount of algorithms will ever get you that. It's just, because people, I know that there are people in my DMs who are like, okay, we really connect with your voice, or we really feel at peace, and that's everything to me. That's everything.
Right.
Yeah.
In between, I taught yoga online during the pandemic. So you started your series
Yeah. Yeah.
on songs every Sunday. So I started with yoga classes because
Yeah.
I was a qualified teacher. I said, what
Yeah.
the hell? Let
Yeah.
me just
Yeah.
start this, because I wanted to sail through that phase like everyone
Like
else.
everyone.
Like everyone else, because there was so much depression and so much negativity all around.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who knew me, they sort of discouraged me also.
Yeah.
And they were not coming from a bad place.
Yeah.
They were coming from a realistic, good place that,
Yeah.
if you're going to do this,
Yeah.
A, you're going to be putting in a lot of your time, and B, you're going to give your direct access to so many people who will be, because I was putting in
Exactly.
my number and my everything, because I didn't have a team to, and
Yeah.
even if before COVID, I had a couple of people working for
Yeah.
me, during COVID, I couldn't sustain anyone,
Right,
right?
right,
So I was just by myself, and I was like, it's too much for me to handle, but yeah. So you're giving your direct access to anybody, and they're talking anything to you and stuff. I said, but I believe that it's for a greater purpose,
course.
and it's coming from a place of me trying to contribute to others while sailing myself
Yeah,
in
while
this very
discovering
difficult
myself
storm.
also. Yeah, no?
Right. That's the intention that I'm coming from. And now it goes anywhere. And I've had calls from Ludhiana, Agra, even Lucknow, Chennai, random people. I've spoken to them for like half an hour
Yeah.
just to tell them that what happens in my classes. And, selling yourself like that. And
Right,
people
right,
said,
right.
and my friends, they said, dude, this is what, just few $1,000 in a month for a group class that you're charging.
Yeah.
And you are a much bigger artist.
Right.
एक तो I don't understand ये bigger artist और ये सब होता क्या है?
Nah, even I
Because
don't
an artist
understand.
is an artist.
Yeah. I mean,
कोई बड़ा छोटा मुझे नहीं लगता उसमें कोई
Exactly.
है आपके पास एक्सपीरियंस ज्यादा हो सकता है
Exactly.
बट बड़े छोटे नहीं
बड़े छोटे
होते
नहीं
हो
हो सकते।
एंड forget about this industry of artists. Even in general in life, there are 16-year-old CEOs, man. They
Exactly.
are minting billions.
Exactly.
What are you
People
talking about?
People are successful at any age.
Any age. So you can't say that, you can't any more measure all these things.
Yeah.
So we have to break through this traditional
Yeah.
mindset first.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
So my friends were telling me that you're negotiating for like, and I was for 500, 1,000 rupees, which was honestly nothing for me.
Yeah.
Nothing
Yeah.
for me. And thank God has blessed me enough to say that. And having said so, I truly value that money. I'm not saying that it means nothing and I'll just,
Yeah.
waste it like that. But it really didn't mean a thing to me.
Yeah.
But I was, because when you are in a business, you
Yeah.
are in a B2C space. I was
Yeah.
throwing myself in a
Yeah.
B2C space, right? You're going direct to consumers.
Exactly.
So you are open, and I was okay to be that vulnerable.
Yeah.
I was scared, yes, 100%, because of course, when this discouragement or this thing comes from your own people, you feel that, am I going in the right direction? But in a space when everything around is so dark, where do you find that light? You have to probably create it,
You have to
right?
create it.
You have to create it. So I was like, listen, this is what I think is the path, and I'm going to go through it. And 2 years down the line, the pandemic got over. And even today, I meet anybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, Guru Mata, Yogini aa gayi. And that has become like a brand for me.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, A, it didn't start out like that at
Yeah,
all for me.
exactly.
B, I'm not going to take the pressure of upholding that brand.
Yeah.
बिकॉज कभी कभी मुझे ऐसा लग रहा था दैट हर रोज मैं अगर योगा नहीं डालूंगी तो लोग कहीं भूल तो नहीं जाएंगे
Why?
या ये तो नहीं बस
That's
लाइक डूड
another issue, you know.
इट्स अ पार्ट ऑफ माई लाइफ एंड
Out of sight, out of mind is always at the back of your head, you know.
राइट यू नो देन आई वाज टेकिंग प्रेशर एंड आई वाज डूइंग थोड़ा बहुत ऑल्दो थोड़ा रिबेल तो आई एम बाय नेचर आई थिंक एवरी
Even,
आर्टिस्ट इज
हाँ, yeah,
हाँ
yeah,
हर
yeah.
आर्टिस्ट थोड़ा रिबेल तो होता ही है तो मैं वो रिबेल तो थी लेकिन कभी कभी ना यू फील लाइक कि चल यार थोड़ा कर लेते हैं थोड़ा
Yeah,
वॉट एवर
yeah,
इज ट्रेंडिंग
yeah.
थोड़ा वो भी कर
कर
लेते
लेते
हैं
हैं.
बस लाइक आई कैन डू इट जस्ट बिकॉज इट्स यू नो ट्रेंडिंग और
Yeah.
जस्ट बिकॉज दिस इज वॉट people
It's
would
just,
like
it
if
goes
it's
to a
coming
point of
naturally
exhaustion, you know.
yeah
To a
I mean
point.
if I don't have time I wouldn't just do it to just
Yeah,
put it out there
for the
because
sake of it. Yeah.
correct so I think that's what is important for you to draw that line for
Definitely,
yourself
because at the end of the day, what's gonna matter is that just like, you know, they say your cult following, that some people who, no matter what you do, they will always support you. You know, like at, let's say 50 people, if you're great, and even if you don't put out content for, like, say, a month or something, when you do, they will come back because they like you for you. And just like, I mean, I did a house concert in Delhi, and it was literally the best thing, because when I was singing Raste Raman, my songs by Thoda Sa Thehra Hai, people were singing it with me. They
yeah
knew the lyrics to my song, and I
oh
don't
you
think.
have to sing that song now I totally forgot to make you sing a song how silly of me that is so please go right ahead
I can do Raas Tera Mera,
please do that
definitely. Hmm. बातें मेरी तुम्हारी रातों में घुलती है सारी, याद है मुझे आज भी, खोई सी आंखें हो तेरी, देखे हैं आंखों में मेरी, याद है मुझे आज भी, डूबी मैं इस तरह, चल तुझे ले चलूं कहीं, रात ही रात हो जहां, दिल में हो एक आरज़ू, तू मेरा मैं तेरी हूँ वहाँ, ये राज है तेरा मेरा.
wow how beautiful that is oh my god
Thank you.
that's just incredible I also want you to sing one more song now that I'm getting greedy from the movie your debut song from the
Bubbly
movie
bouncer. Okay, right.
Bubbly
Oh,
Bouncer.
wow. So it's called Man Mein Halchal. It's composed by Karan Malhotra. Beautiful song. Listen to it if you haven't already. Um, mm, सुन रही जो धुन कहीं गुम तुझी में तो नहीं, खुद से जो ना कही बात सुन, आईने में छुपे राज सुन, मन में हलचल खुद से मुलाकात बाकी है, दिन जो गया ढल तो क्या सारी रात बाकी है, मन में हलचल खुद से मुलाकात बाकी है, दिन जो गया ढल तो क्या सारी रात बाकी है.
wow that's incredible
Thank you.
you have so
Basically,
much talent
the meaning of the song resonates with me because, you know, as you can listen to it, as you can hear the lyrics go like, मन में हलचल, because that inner turmoil, but खुद से मुलाकात भी, दिन जो गया ढल फिर तो क्या सारी रात बाकी, but like आज का, if you're feeling low today, because there's a lot, you know, tomorrow will be a new day, so you have to have that faith. So I think-
did you write this song
no,
also?
I didn't write it. I didn't
Okay,
write it.
but it's such a beautiful song. The lyrics are so beautiful.
Yeah.
As a singer, how much do you think lyrics are important? Because these days, anything vague is just out there and it's just trending.
I am so glad you asked me that question. I am a lyric centric songwriter. Lyrics for me are everything. I will, for a second I will still compromise with the melody and with the music, but lyrics is something that I have to get right because it has to resonate with me, and that is why I feel, if it resonates with me, then it'll be relatable to the
If
people.
somebody gives you a song
Yeah.
with absolutely inappropriate or bad or
I don't think that's
whatever
gonna
lyrics,
happen.
so if that happens and they give you a lot of money to sing that song, okay, so
Oh,
would you do that?
tricky, tricky, tricky. I mean, if you're giving me a lot of money, then why not? I'll be very honest.
You're a smart businesswoman also there, right? And one has to be.
Why not? Because see, I look at it in a way where if it's a different genre, why not try it? Because I don't want to restrict myself to one kind of songs that I write or sing or whatever. So if it's like a dance number, why not? If it's like a sad song, why not? If it's like a rap, no, not I can't rap to save my life. But anyway, you get my point.
Yeah, yeah. That's
So I just
beautiful.
want to experiment. That's all. I'm just like in that experimental mindset right now. I don't want to say no to anything. I want to just experiment, work with a lot of people.
And then probably come to a stage
Yeah,
where you
come
would
a
like
stage
to
where,
choose.
yeah, where I will be able to, or where I'll have that authority to choose for myself what I do. So yeah,
With so much talent as yourselves, I don't know why you said earlier that you're scared to go on stage and
oh
perform.
my god.
I think you have your vibe is so real that the audience will connect with you just like that. I think you should, yeah, you should totally go and rock that stage as soon as you get your next opportunity.
Yes, definitely. I'm gonna start doing shows. I think that's the plan till December, like a short term plan. If you ask, like you asked me last this time. So yeah, get into the live scene is something that I'm really working on right now.
I wish you the best with that, Akanksha. And I
You will have to
really
attend
know.
my live.
I will, I
You
will. You'll
have
have
to
to
come
tell
to
me
my
where it's
gig.
happening. I will come for sure, wherever it's happening. Whether
Yeah.
you're in Delhi, Bombay, wherever. Just let me know
Done.
where it is and I'm going to drop in and say that, that talented girl, she was there on my show first. All of y'all get her second, third, or fourth, or whatever number. I am the first. So you're kind of losing your virginity to me.
No.
You're
Yes.